All right, here with Kevin from Order of Ennead. How you doing, Kevin?
Pretty good.
Now, Kevin, you got your second disc coming out on Earache. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the album comes out the beginning of May. It's our second album with Earache. We plan to do a lot of touring after the summer for it. It's titled An Examination of Being.
Now, I was reading on your MySpace that it's almost a concept album. And, you know, what's the themes behind it? And could you talk a little bit about how that ties back into Order of Ennead?
Sure. Well, the album's pretty much isn't originally meant to be a concept album with, there's like not a main character that you're following along, but it's about, the lyrics all have to do with a similar topic. And that topic's pretty much like an examination of being, like the title goes. It's all about existence and why we exist and how we exist, and it's questioning why we're here. That's pretty much all this. All the lyrics have a different perspective of why we're here and things like this.
Now, how does that translate into, say, the live show? I mean, is this something kids are going to hear the lyrics, or are they going to have to?
If you read the lyrics, you should be able to get just an idea of it. But a lot of metalheads don't really listen to lyrics these days, so you can still, enjoy it. If you just want a deeper meaning to the songs, you can read the lyrics and get more from it if you want. But it's fine if you don't listen to them; you just listen to music. That's the main part of it, anyway.
Now, could you talk for a second about how the band came together? I know most of you guys were in another band prior, and just what was the switch?
Well, I had a band before called Council of the Fallen, and I met Scott Patrick, our bass player, when I moved to Florida about 5 years ago, and he started playing with Council of the Fallen. And I had a lot of problems finding band members. We put 2 albums out with that band, and then Scott joined later. After a little while, we had about a year of not doing anything, and then I ran into Scott at a Cradle of Filth show in Tampa, and he mentioned that Steve from Deicide was looking for someone to jam with. So I got together with him and started putting songs together pretty immediately, because I had a lot of material written. And after we got a little bit farther along with the demo, we had 9 songs, and then we got John Lee involved, so we can add his solos.
Good deal. Now, what's going on in the Florida metal scene? I mean, from my perspective, it looks awfully incestuous. I know you toured with Deicide, and seems to be a lot of guys playing with the same set of people.
That's the way it goes these days. I'm like a full member of Deicide now. I'm going to be doing all their live shows. It's pretty much whoever's available, whoever's financially stable enough to be able to go on tour for a month and not make too much money. There's a lot of bands still down there. The ones that have been around for a long time are still doing it, like Malevolent, Deicide, Obituary. The newer bands, with the internet, you don't have to be from a specific area these days. You can pretty much be from the middle of Ohio or Nebraska and still be relative.
Now, what's it like, say, the difference between playing with your band and playing in Deicide? I mean, I'll tell you, just my 2 times I've seen Glenn was one at the Roadrunner show where he came out in full metal,
right,
and then at North 6, which was one of the craziest shows I've ever seen.
It's a different thing altogether, because a lot of people don't know who Order of Ennead is. It's like, we're pretty new. It's a mix of black and death metal, so people are just hearing us for the first time. It's nice when people can sing along to the lyrics so they know what the band's about. But it's a totally different thing, and I write all the music for Order of Ennead and write all the lyrics, so it's very personal for me. When I jam with Deicide, I've been listening to Deicide for 20 years, so I grew up listening to them. So I pretty much just have to learn their songs, and they have a set fan base. You know what you're gonna get, and some of the fans are pretty crazy.
What do you think is the biggest misconception? I mean, when I was growing up listening to a lot of, say, the Florida metal, there were the protests, there was anti-Glenn, there was anti-Morbid Angel. Do you still get the religious, shall we say, passionate?
Right. I haven't witnessed it myself. I know all the stories I've heard, but we just came back from last year we did Central America. We just came back from South America, and there was no protest that I saw. There might be some random things here and there, a little blurb in the local newspaper, but nothing, no kind of protest or anything. I think people know it's all about the music these days, and that's what they get into.
Sure. Now, in terms of music and internet, have you run across any bands that you're particularly hot on?
Here and there, a lot of the newer bands I'm not really into, because I think I was spoiled growing up in the 90s, you know, when all the death metal was coming about. And then I got into black metal in the mid-90s, so to me it's like I'm not hearing anything new that I love. Most of the time I'll listen to just order of Ennead songs that I'm working on for future albums, and I started writing some songs I decide that we'll hopefully use in the future. So that's a lot of my listening. But I'm really looking forward to hearing the new Nevermore. I'm interested in hearing that. And there's a couple bands that I definitely seek out their albums, like Creator and Amon Mars and Cradle of Filth. I'm going to listen to their albums. I'm just curious to see what they're doing these days whenever they put out new material.
All right, so last question now. You said you're coming back after the summer?
We are looking into booking some tours. Right now, probably some Florida dates in June, because DSI's going over to Europe for a couple runs of the festivals. And
oh, sure.
After that, probably around August, I'm trying to book some tours, either Europe or the US, probably going to hopefully do both. There's a festival in Philly that we're trying to play, and we might do some shows up with Hate Eternal on the way up to the festival. But yeah, we're just definitely want to book a lot of shows, a lot of tours these days. That's what I'm looking into.
Sounds good. Is there anything you want to leave people with?
Just check out the album. If we're playing around, you can check us out, and hope you like it.